They don't talk about it at Thanksgiving, but you can feel it in the room. There's this invisible tension, like everyone's walking on eggshells. The way a joke falls flat, or how someone quickly changes the subject when a certain person starts talking. These little shifts speak volumes. It's not about being rude or unkind. It's about discomfort, real, silent discomfort. And most of it stems from things we don't dare bring up. Imagine sitting in your living room. The TV is playing softly in the background, but no one's really watching. Your grandfather is telling a story, again, the same one he told last week and the week before. You love him truly, but something inside you feels tired. Not of him, but of this loop. It's like time stopped for him, and he doesn't even realize it. And no one wants to say anything, because it feels cruel, but it builds, quietly. This is just one example, one small crack. But there are others, and when they add up, they start to break things, relationships, communication, even love. Not because someone meant harm, but because time can carve out habits so deep you forget they're not natural. Take oversharing, for instance. It's something many older people fall into without realizing. You're sitting at a family dinner, and suddenly your aunt starts talking about her bowel movements in graphic detail. Or your dad brings up an old family argument like it's breaking news. The room gets awkward. People smile politely. But inside, they're cringing. It's not that we don't care. It's that some details, some memories, don't need to be unpacked in the middle of a meal. There's a time, a place, and most importantly, a way. Then there's the habit of correcting people, constantly. You say something, and before the sentence is even done, there's well, actually, it might be about a fact, a memory, even your feelings. It chips away at your voice, makes you feel small, like you can't be trusted to speak for yourself. Older people sometimes think this comes from wisdom, that correcting someone is helping. But it's not always helpful. Sometimes it's just another way to control the narrative. Control, that's another big one. And it shows up in subtle, sneaky ways. The way the thermostat is a battlefield, or how plans are vetoed unless they align with one person's preferences. It might seem harmless, but over time, it turns every gathering into a negotiation. People start avoiding those situations, not because they don't love the person, but because it's exhausting. And maybe the ugliest habit of all is guilt, the way it's used like a tool, sometimes even a weapon. You never visit anymore. I guess I'm not that important. These words sting. They're wrapped in love but delivered like accusations. And they land hard, especially on people who are trying, who are juggling work, kids, stress. Instead of drawing people closer, guilt builds walls. You know what else? The past. It's beautiful. But when you use it to shame the present, it turns sour. Back in my day, becomes less about storytelling and more about scolding. It says, your way is wrong, my way was better. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But comparison isn't connection. It divides, it distances, it makes younger people feel like they're never enough. There's this older man in my neighborhood. He used to be full of life, always joking, always asking questions. But over the years, he started turning inward, started complaining. First, it was about his knee, then the government, then the weather. Eventually, it was everything. Every conversation became a list of grievances. And people stopped coming around, not because they didn't care, but because it became too heavy, too negative. It's not about denying pain. It's about balancing it with hope. When someone stops listening, that's another habit that creeps in. You're trying to share something meaningful and they cut you off. Or worse, they nod without hearing. Being heard is a deep human need. And when older people stop giving that, they start losing something vital, respect. Not out of malice, out of erosion, a slow fading of connection. And let's talk about appearance, not in a judgmental way, but in a way that recognizes how much presentation matters. There's a difference between comfort and neglect. Wearing the same stained shirt every day, letting hygiene slip, it sends a message, not just to others, but to yourself, that you've stopped caring. And when you stop caring, people mirror that. They stop treating you with the same attentiveness. not out of cruelty, but instinct. Then there's emotional manipulation, the subtle way some elders try to steer emotions. If I died tomorrow, would you even notice? It's heartbreaking and deeply uncomfortable because love doesn't respond well to pressure. It grows in light, not guilt. These moments, while maybe meant to express vulnerability, often come off as traps, and people pull away. Entitlement is another one. The idea that being older means being above correction, that you've earned the right to speak however you want, treat people however you want, without consequences. But age doesn't equal immunity. Respect goes both ways. And when that's forgotten, friction takes its place. I once saw a woman in her 80s mock a teenager at a cafe, loudly, criticizing her clothes, her hair, her phone use. The girl didn't respond, just looked down and quietly moved tables. The older woman laughed, but no one else did. Because cruelty isn't charming, no matter your age, and it leaves a stain that doesn't fade. There's also the belief that you've earned the right to stop changing. That growth is for the young, but the truth is the most inspiring elders are the ones who still learn, who say, "Tell me more," who apologize when they're wrong, who cry, who laugh, who admit, "I didn't know that." These people aren't just tolerated, they're loved, remembered, missed. So if you're getting older, this isn't about shame, it's about choice. You get to decide what kind of elder you'll be, one that people dread seeing, or one they can't wait to visit, one that people tiptoe around, or one they lean into. Every habit, every word, every choice builds that version of you. And if you're young, this is your future. Your habits today become your nature tomorrow. Pay attention, reflect. Don't wait until people stop calling to wonder why. Start now. Be the kind of person who ages like wine, not vinegar. There's a line I love. People don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. That's what sticks. That's what lasts. So make people feel safe, seen, loved, and that feeling, that becomes your legacy. This isn't just advice, it's a mirror. Look into it. What do you see? What needs to change? Because the ugliest habits are the ones we don't notice until it's too late. But it's never too late. Not today, not right now. You can start small. A pause before you speak, a question instead of a judgment, a hug instead of a sigh. And one day someone will sit at your table, listen to your story, yes, even for the third time, and smile. Not because they feel obligated, but because they feel loved. That's the power of changing ugly habits. That's the kind of elder the world needs more of. Let's become them, together.